Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, yet your blood pressure just won't cooperate? You get up early for your morning walks. You cut back on salt. You take your medication on time. You even gave up your morning coffee for green juice. Each meal is carefully planned. Steamed fish, brown rice, leafy greens, and then comes your regular checkup. The doctor looks at your blood pressure reading and says nothing. You leave the clinic with a worried heart, wondering, what am I doing wrong? Helen, 67, is one patient I'll never forget. After losing her husband to a stroke at 72, she began taking her health seriously. She lives alone in a small, peaceful home. Her daily routine? Like something out of a textbook. Oatmeal for breakfast, steamed fish and boiled vegetables for lunch, soup and a small serving of brown rice for dinner. No alcohol, no sweets, no late nights. One day, she looked at me and said, "Doctor, I've followed everything by the book, but my blood pressure is still high. What am I doing wrong?" She handed me her food journal, neatly written, every meal logged, and there it was. Not a single plant-based protein source for an entire week. No tofu, no beans, no lentils, just veggies, rice, and fish. It looked healthy, but something vital was missing. We often think that eating less is good, but eating less of the right things, especially the nutrients your heart and blood vessels rely on, is where the real danger lies. Plant-based proteins are more than just a trend. They quietly support your arteries, keep your blood vessels elastic, and help regulate pressure over time. It's no coincidence that countries with the lowest stroke rates consume plenty of them, like tofu, lentils, and nuts. So maybe it's not just about avoiding salt. Maybe it's about asking, am I eating enough of what my body needs to fight high blood pressure? In this video, I'll share 3 simple, affordable, plant-based proteins backed by research that can help lower your blood pressure, strengthen your blood vessels, and reduce stroke risk. You don't have to search far. Chances are they're already in your kitchen. You just haven't noticed them yet. I once treated Robert, a gentle 70-year-old man who lived with his wife in a quiet little town. He didn't smoke, didn't drink, walked around the lake every morning. To his neighbors, Robert seemed like the perfect image of a healthy senior. But only he and his doctor knew the truth. His blood pressure was never truly stable. Each reading was different. Some days it spiked so high he'd have to lie down for hours just to recover from the dizziness. When I asked him about his diet, he answered with impressive detail. He had cut out red meat, switched to brown rice, and reduced sodium intake. But when I asked about soy, he shook his head and said, "No, doctor, I avoid soy. I heard it messes with men's hormones." That line, I've heard it too many times. Many men over 60 believe that soy disrupts hormones, that the plant-based estrogen in soy makes them weaker or affects their masculinity. But here's the truth. It doesn't. Soy is actually one of the best plant proteins for heart health. It contains isoflavones, a natural compound that improves the elasticity of blood vessels, reduces inflammation, and helps stabilize blood pressure. In fact, countries like Japan, where soy is a dietary staple, have some of the lowest rates of heart disease and stroke among the elderly. I advised Robert to add tofu to his meals twice a week. His wife started making seaweed soup with soft tofu instead of meat. In the mornings, he switched to unsweetened soy milk. And in just 2 months, something shifted. His blood pressure readings leveled out. He stopped feeling lightheaded at noon. His vision improved. He felt more alert, more alive. Now, of course, soy isn't right for everyone, especially those with a history of hormonal conditions. But for most healthy older adults, soy isn't something to fear. It's a misunderstood gift from nature. What saddens me most isn't that Robert avoided soy. It's that he avoided it because of fear. Fear rooted in myths, not facts. Sometimes the things we skip because we think they're harmful are exactly what our bodies need to feel whole again. Linda, 74, is a woman of strong principles. 3 years ago, after a minor stroke, she completely changed her lifestyle. No more pastries, no more fried snacks she once loved, and no more heavy meat dinners. Every meal became textbook healthy. Steamed vegetables, brown rice, veggie soup, and fresh fruit. Friends praised her for eating clean and living mindfully. But no one saw what was slowly happening behind the scenes. After about a year on that routine, Linda began feeling tired by late afternoon. Her arms and legs felt weak. Sometimes she'd stand up too fast and feel dizzy. Her blood pressure wasn't alarmingly high, but it bounced up and down unpredictably. She became more irritable. Some days she'd cry over the smallest things. When I reviewed her food journal, carefully handwritten, I noticed something common among seniors. She ate almost no plant-based protein. No seeds, no beans, no oats, just vegetables and rice. When I asked her about chia or flax seeds, she smiled and said, "I avoid those. I thought they might overheat the body." That's a common misconception. Many older adults believe that seeds are too warming or might cause skin breakouts. But the truth is, seeds like chia, flaxseed, and oats are gentle, plant-based sources of protein. They're easy to digest, rich in soluble fiber, and especially beneficial for blood vessels. These nutrients help reduce bad cholesterol, soften artery walls, and keep blood pressure steady throughout the day. Once she understood this, Linda began to shift gently. Each morning, she stirred a spoonful of chia seeds into warm water. In the afternoon, she had unsweetened oat porridge with almond milk. At dinner, she added a sprinkle of ground flaxseed to her veggie soup. Within just 6 weeks, Linda felt brighter. She had more energy, slept more soundly, and, most surprisingly, her memory improved. She could recall her grandchildren's names without hesitation. People often think eating healthy means eating less. But our bodies need more than vegetables. They need balance. And for those who avoid meat, seeds, beans, and whole grains can be the missing piece to keeping your heart strong. Health isn't about strict restriction. It's about harmony. And even a small imbalance can send your blood pressure on a roller coaster ride, day after day. George, 65, is a man who lives by tradition. For nearly 30 years, his meals haven't changed much. Cold rice with tea for breakfast, boiled vegetables, and fish for lunch, and a light dinner before dusk. He believes in simplicity and avoids anything that feels new or foreign. Even in the supermarket, when passing by bags of lentils, he'd say, "That stuff's probably for health fanatics or Westerners." But like many people his age, George slowly began experiencing silent symptoms. His blood pressure inched up little by little at each checkup, not dramatically, but steadily. Some days he felt heavy, a bit lightheaded when standing, or noticed his heart beat faster after climbing stairs. He didn't eat salty food, avoided alcohol, stayed hydrated, and didn't smoke. but he was missing something vital: soluble fiber, especially the kind found in beans and nutrient-rich plants. One of the most powerful of these, lentils, rich in potassium, folate, and plant-based protein, known to support blood vessel strength and help regulate blood pressure naturally. When I mentioned lentils, George hesitated. "I've never cooked them. I wouldn't even know where to start." So, his wife gave it a try. She made a soft, hearty lentil soup with carrots and onions. It was warm, mildly sweet, and comforting. The first week, he had it once. By the second week, he asked for more. After a month, George told me, "Doctor, I feel lighter now. I don't crash after lunch anymore." What touched me most wasn't that he changed everything. It was that he changed just one thing, a small addition, a simple, unfamiliar choice, made with an open heart. So many older adults skip over lentils simply because they seem too new. But it's often the unfamiliar things that quietly make the biggest difference. You don't need to eat them every day. Even once a week can help. And for someone worried about the risk of stroke, that one small shift might be the turning point. We often assume high blood pressure must be caused by something big: a sudden emotional shock, a salty meal, a sleepless night. But in reality, high blood pressure rarely shows up from one dramatic mistake. It builds silently from small things we repeat every day, from meals that lack enough protein, from skipping soy out of fear, from keeping our diet too plain, without balance, from walking past lentils in the store and never giving them a chance. Our bodies are intelligent systems, resilient but also sensitive. They don't demand extreme diets or sudden change. What they truly need is gentle, consistent care in the right direction. The 3 plant proteins I shared today, soy, seeds, and lentils, aren't fancy superfoods. They're humble, accessible, and easy to prepare. They offer not just protein, but also fiber, minerals, and a quiet, steady defense for your heart and blood vessels. If your blood pressure still swings up and down despite your best efforts, if you feel drained even though you're eating clean, maybe what's missing is as simple as a small bowl of beans at lunch. A small shift in your kitchen routine could be the start of long-term stability in your health. I'm not asking you to change everything overnight. Start small. Add just one new item to your meals. Try a handful of seeds, a bowl of tofu soup, or a spoonful of chia in your morning glass of water. Give your body the chance to be nourished by the very things it quietly needs. If you recognized yourself in any of the mistakes I shared today, leave a comment below. Your story might help someone else realize their own. And if you found this video helpful, consider sharing it with a loved one. Because someone you care about might need to hear this right now. Important medical reminder. This video is for informational purposes only. If you're experiencing unusual symptoms or your blood pressure remains unstable despite healthy eating habits, please visit your nearest healthcare provider for a proper checkup and personal guidance. Caring for your blood pressure isn't a race, it's a journey, and you are not alone on that path. I truly believe every small step you take carries great value. I'm Dr. Eli, and I'll see you in the next video, where we keep learning together. Gently, at the right pace, and with heart.